They do not come to you because of who you are. They come because of what you carry. You are not simply a person in their eyes. You are a mirror, a lifeline, a flame in the blackness of their own emptiness. They see your compassion, your vision, your depth, your light. And in their hollow chest, something stirs. Hunger. Narcissists do not crave you. They crave the energy that radiates from you. They crave your strength because they cannot face their own weakness. They crave your light because they are suffocating in their own shadow. Understand this. A narcissist does not approach you because they love you. They approach you because they need you. They are like drowning men clinging to anyone who floats, not to save you, but to pull themselves above water. And if you are not careful, they will not simply take from you, they will consume you piece by piece until your brilliance becomes their mask and your soul becomes their fuel. Carl Jung warned that the unconscious will project itself outward. A narcissist is a person possessed by their shadow, unwilling to confront it, unwilling to integrate it, terrified of the abyss within. They build false selves masks of charm, confidence, superiority, but beneath those masks lies a void so deep it cannot be filled. And so they feed. They feed on admiration, they feed on control, they feed on the light of others to escape the suffocating darkness of themselves. But here is the brutal truth. You are not obligated to be their light. You are not a candle to burn so that someone else can see. If you allow them, they will draw your energy until nothing remains, until you mistake their emptiness for your failure, until you forget that the light was always yours to begin with. Think of history. Tyrants are merely narcissists who scaled their hunger into empires. They demanded worship, not because they were divine, but because they were hollow. They enslaved, not because they were powerful, but because they were weak. They built monuments, not to celebrate life, but to hide their own inner death. And the people, blinded by the mask, handed them their light willingly. But the tyrant always collapses. The void always wins in the end, because no amount of stolen light can save the soul that refuses to face its own shadow. But you are different. You feel their pull. You sense their hunger. And you must decide, will you be consumed or will you rise? Will you continue to give your light to those who refuse to create their own? Or will you guard it, nurture it, and burn so brightly that no parasite can attach to you again? Narcissists are drawn to the empathetic, the visionary, the strong yet tender souls who carry both fire and water within them. They test your boundaries, and if you do not hold them, they will expand until your entire existence bends to theirs. They do not ask, they take. They do not see you, they use you. They do not love you, they feed on you. And the most dangerous part? They do it while convincing you that you are the one at fault, that you are not enough, that you are too much, that your fire is wrong, your love is flawed, your light is excessive. They make you question yourself until you dim, until you shrink, until you break. This is the essence of manipulation, not chains of iron, but chains of doubt. You become your own jailer, silencing your power so they can remain unchallenged. And all the while, they glow with the very energy they drain from you, like thieves wearing stolen crowns. But Jung would remind you, this dynamic is not only about them, it is also about you. For if you attract narcissists, it is because somewhere inside, your shadow craves validation. Somewhere inside, you fear your own power, and so you allow others to feed from it. Somewhere inside, you have not fully embraced your right to guard your own light. The answer is not to hate them. Hate only binds you tighter. The answer is to awaken, to see through the mask, to recognize the shadow they refuse to face, and to refuse to make it your responsibility. You are not their healer. You are not their savior. You are not their sacrifice. You are the keeper of your own fire, and your fire must be protected. Belief is the first shield. You must believe you are worthy of protecting your energy, that your light is sacred, that your empathy, your brilliance, your strength are not tools for others to exploit, but gifts you are responsible for guarding. Without belief, you surrender yourself before the battle begins. Clarity follows. Clarity to see manipulation for what it is, to see charm as camouflage, to see grandiosity as insecurity, to see love bombing as hunger. Clarity to see that their darkness is not your responsibility, and that their inability to face themselves is not your failure. Vision sharpens next. Vision of who you could be if you stopped letting others drain you. Vision of a life where your light is used to create, to build, to inspire, not to fuel the emptiness of those who refuse their own work. Vision of freedom, of sovereignty, of walking unchained. Discipline ancorsi. Discipline to hold boundaries, to say no, to walk away when their hunger reaches for you. Discipline to stop explaining yourself, to stop seeking their approval, to stop giving pieces of yourself in the hope that they will finally be satisfied. They will never be satisfied. Their darkness is infinite. Only they can face it, and most never will. Action makes it real. The action of stepping back, the action of choosing your peace over their chaos, the action of pouring your energy into your purpose instead of their void, the action of reclaiming every fragment of yourself you gave away and welding it back into wholeness. Gratitude transforms the pain. Gratitude for the lesson they brought, because narcissists are teachers of boundaries. They show you where you have abandoned yourself. They show you where your shadow hides. And if you awaken, you see that their betrayal was the forge that made you stronger. Adaptability ensures you are never deceived again, because narcissists wear many masks: the lover, the friend, the leader, the savior. But once you know the pattern, you cannot be fooled. You adapt, you see, you shift, you recognize the signs before the trap is set. Resilience is the final fortress, because even when you know, even when you walk away, the memory can linger. The doubts they planted can echo. But resilience means you rise anyway. You keep burning. You refuse to let their shadow become yours. And learning keeps you awake, because every encounter with darkness teaches you something new about your own light. Every manipulation you resist strengthens your clarity. Every wound you heal makes you more untouchable. In the end, you realize the truth. Narcissists will always try to use your light to escape their darkness. But the power was never theirs. The power was always yours. The power to give or to withhold, to burn or to dim, to protect or to surrender. And now you know, your light is not for escape. Your light is for creation. Your light is for vision. Your light is for building a life that is untouchable by the hunger of the hollow. So let them reach, let them hunger, let them cling, and let them starve. For you no longer feed them, you no longer sacrifice, you no longer mistake their darkness for your duty. You rise, you protect, you shine, and in doing so, you discover something eternal. Your light was never fragile. It was only waiting for you to claim it. A narcissist is not who they pretend to be. That polished mask, that charm, that false humility, that carefully crafted smile, it is all performance. Underneath the mask is not confidence, not strength, not certainty. Underneath the mask is a hollow self, terrified of being seen for what it truly is: empty. Jung once wrote that neurosis is always a substitute for legitimate suffering. The narcissist cannot endure their own suffering, their own confrontation with their emptiness, their wounds, their shadow. So they substitute. They substitute reality with fantasy. They substitute wholeness with a mask. They substitute facing themselves with using you. They wear your strength as their armor. They wear your compassion as their disguise. They wear your loyalty as their leash. You think you are loved, but you are only being used as scaffolding to hold up a collapsing structure. And here lies the danger. They are skilled at convincing you that you are the weak one, that you are the broken one, that you are the one who must change. This is projection, their shadow, thrown onto you like a cloak. They feel shame, but they call you shameful. They feel unworthy, but they tell you that you are never enough. They feel powerless, but they make you question your power. And if you are not awake, you will carry their darkness as if it were your own. Do you see the trick? It is not your darkness you are carrying. It is theirs. It is the weight of their unexamined self strapped onto your back while they walk away lighter. This is why being entangled with a narcissist feels so exhausting, so draining. You are not only holding your own life, you are carrying the unconscious burden of another. History repeats this on a grand scale. Nations have been carried into ruin by leaders who projected their inner darkness outward. The propaganda of tyrants is nothing more than narcissism writ large. The enemy is out there. The flaw is out there. The weakness is out there. Always outward, never inward. And people too blind or too hungry for belonging carry that projection until the whole world burns. But you are not a blind follower. You are not a vessel for someone else's shadow. You are not a scapegoat for another's emptiness. Your task is not to carry them. Your task is to awaken, to drop what was never yours, to return the burden and walk free. And freedom begins with recognition. Recognition that you're not crazy, not broken, not too much, not too little. Recognition that what you felt was real, that the exhaustion was not weakness but theft. Recognition that you were targeted not because you were lacking, but because you were radiant. For narcissists do not feed on weakness. They feed on strength. They seek out the kind-hearted, the empathetic, the capable, the radiant, because only those with light can be used to cover their dark. They seek your confidence because they have none. They seek your energy because theirs is dead. They seek your faith because their soul has drowned. Do you see the reversal? You are not the broken one in this exchange. You are the source. You are the fire. You are the treasure they cannot generate themselves. And that is why they cling, why they manipulate, why they try to trap you. Because without you, their mask begins to crack. But you must ask yourself, will you be the eternal fuel for another's denial? Or will you claim your fire for yourself? Here, belief becomes a weapon. Belief not in them, not in their mask, not in the lies they tell you about yourself, but belief in your own worth. Belief that your light is not meant to be stolen. Belief that your empathy is not weakness, but strength. Belief that your capacity to give does not make you obligated to give endlessly. And then comes clarity, ruthless clarity. Clarity to see through charm, to see through false apologies, to see through the love that feels more like chains than wings. Clarity to name manipulation as manipulation, to name theft as theft, to name darkness as darkness. Vision follows the vision of what life looks like when you are free, when your energy is no longer drained, when your light is used not to patch someone else's wounds, but to illuminate your own path. Vision of a life where your strength builds instead of bleeds, where your compassion empowers instead of enslaves, and purpose ignites. Because when you stop feeding narcissists, you discover the deeper reason you were given light in the first place. Your light was not meant to escape someone else's darkness. It was meant to build a future, to awaken souls, to fuel creation. You are not here to be a mirror. You are here to be a force. But purpose without discipline collapses. And this is where most fall back into the trap. Narcissists return with their charm, their promises, their hunger disguised as love. And without discipline, you will let them back in. Discipline means boundaries sharp as steel. Discipline means no is final. Discipline means you will not bargain your soul for temporary peace. And then action. Action to step away. Action to reclaim your time, your energy, your voice. Action to redirect every ounce of light you once gave away back into yourself, into your vision, into your destiny. Gratitude transforms the ashes. Gratitude that you saw the truth. Gratitude that the mask fell. Gratitude that you were tested, because only through this fire do you become unshakable. Adaptability ensures you will never fall for the same mask again. Because once you know the signs, once you know the feeling of being drained, once you know the look in the eyes of someone who only sees you as fuel, you cannot be fooled. You shift, you adapt, you rise. Resilience carries you forward, because narcissists will not disappear. They exist in every era, in every nation, in every circle. But resilience means their reach no longer frightens you. Resilience means you rise again and again, no matter who tries to dim you. And learning completes the circle. Learning that not everyone deserves your light. Learning that discernment is the highest form of compassion. Learning that to protect your energy is not selfishness, but responsibility. And then you know, narcissists will always use your light to escape their darkness, but they can only succeed if you hand it to them. Once you see, once you believe, once you guard, once you claim, they cannot touch you. Their darkness is theirs, your light is yours, and yours will burn long after their masks have turned to dust. The narcissist is not just an individual, they are an archetype, an ancient pattern that has walked through every age, wearing different faces, but feeding on the same principle, parasitism of the soul. The vampire myth exists for a reason. A creature that cannot survive without drinking the life of others, charming its victims, drawing them close until the victim is pale, weakened, hollow. The vampire is not fantasy. It is psychology dressed as legend. The narcissist is the vampire of the psyche. They cannot generate their own light, so they take yours. They cannot sustain their own energy, so they feed on yours. They cannot embrace their own shadow, so they use you as an escape hatch, a drug, a fix for the emptiness within. And just like the vampire, they must be invited in. They cannot enter without your permission. Do you see the truth hidden in the myth? They only have the power you give them. You are the threshold. You are the door. You are the one who decides whether they enter and feed or whether they starve outside your walls. But here is the paradox. Empaths, visionaries, creators, the deeply feeling souls, they are the ones who invite the vampire in. Not out of weakness, but out of mercy. Out of the belief that their light can heal the darkness of another. Out of the hope that if they give enough, love enough, sacrifice enough, the other will be whole. This is the fatal illusion, because narcissists are not seeking wholeness. They are avoiding it. They are not looking for healing. They are fleeing from it. Your light does not lead them to integration. It only delays their confrontation with themselves. You do not save them. You enable them. This is why your relationships with them feel like drowning. No matter how much you give, it is never enough. No matter how much you love, they are never satisfied. No matter how much you prove yourself, the target keeps moving, because it was never about you. It was always about the void inside them, and that void is endless. Jung called this possession. When a man refuses to face his shadow, the shadow possesses him. He becomes its puppet, its mask, its servant. Narcissists are not in control. They are controlled. Their hunger is not choice. It is compulsion. They do not manipulate because they are strong. They manipulate because it is the only way they can survive. And here lies the great danger. If you do not wake up, you too will become possessed, not by their shadow, but by your own, the shadow that craves validation, the shadow that fears abandonment, the shadow that mistakes sacrifice for love. You will become addicted to the very dynamic that drains you, confusing pain for passion, control for care, chaos for connection. This is why breaking free feels like tearing flesh from bone, because the bond between empath and narcissist is not rational, it is archetypal. It is ancient. It is a dance of light and dark, the healer and the wounded, the giver and the taker. But the dance only ends when the giver awakens. History offers its warnings. Entire civilizations have been devoured by narcissistic rulers because the people projected their own need for salvation onto a mask. They mistook charisma for leadership, promises for truth, and ended up enslaved. Rome rotted not just from external enemies, but from emperors who fed on the worship of their people until the empire was hollow. Germany fell under Hitler because a nation projected its despair and hunger onto a man who seemed to radiate certainty. That certainty was stolen light, and it ended in ashes. The lesson is eternal. When you hand your light to the narcissist, You are building your own chains. When you trust the mask, you are condemning yourself to darkness. And yet the moment you see, the moment you awaken, the spell breaks. The awakening begins when you name the pattern, when you see the vampire for what it is, when you stop explaining away the hunger, stop excusing the cruelty, stop mistaking exploitation for love. When you call it by its true name, you pull back your power. But naming is not enough. You must also withdraw. Withdraw the energy you have been giving. Withdraw the attention, the validation, the endless second chances. Withdraw your light from their darkness, even if it feels like tearing a limb from your soul, because it is not your limb, it was theirs, fastened onto you by illusion. This is discipline in its purest form. The discipline to say no when every nerve in you is screaming to give. The discipline to walk away when your shadow whispers to stay. The discipline to burn bridges you once believed were sacred, because you now see they were built over a pit. And in that discipline comes clarity. You begin to see the difference between genuine connection and parasitism, between love and hunger, between light shared and light stolen. And once you taste that clarity, you will never forget it. You will recognize the narcissist not by their mask, but by the emptiness behind their eyes. You will see the hunger before it reaches for you. You will sense the pull before it drains you. And in that moment, you will not hesitate. You will protect your fire. This is not cruelty. This is sovereignty. Cruelty would be to keep giving and allowing the cycle to continue. Sovereignty is to end the game, to refuse the role, to stand firm in your light and let them face their darkness without your fuel. And once you choose sovereignty, everything changes. The narcissist can no longer touch you. Their tactics bounce off you. Their manipulation feels transparent. Their hunger no longer tempts you. You stand as a fortress of light, not because you deny the dark, but because you refuse to let someone else escape theirs through you. And in that moment, you realize the greatest truth of all. Your light was never fragile. It was only unguarded. Guard it, and it becomes unstoppable. The narcissist will always seek your fire. They will always reach for your strength, your kindness, your brilliance, your light, not because they love you, but because they cannot love themselves. They will always try to climb out of their abyss using your hands, your energy, your soul. And if you allow them, they will drain you until you mistake their emptiness for your identity. But you are not their escape. You are not their healer. You are not their savior. You are the keeper of your own light, and that light was never meant to be stolen. The truth is simple. They cannot face their darkness, and so they run. They run into you, into others, into anyone who shines. But the longer you feed them, the longer they avoid the one confrontation that could save them, the confrontation with themselves. You break the cycle not by saving them, but by saving yourself, not by healing them, but by guarding your fire, not by carrying their shadow, but by embracing your own. Because once you embrace your own shadow, once you make peace with your darkness, you become whole, and the whole cannot be consumed. This is the awakening. To see the mask for what it is, to feel the pull and refuse it, to stand in your light without guilt, without apology, without surrender. This is the moment you stop being prey. This is the moment you stop being fuel. This is the moment you rise untouchable. Carl Jung said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." That is the path the narcissist refuses, and that is the path you must take. Because once you accept yourself completely, both light and dark, no one can use you as an escape. No one can feed on you. No one can steal what you've already claimed. And then you stand in a different power, a power that does not need masks, a power that does not need approval, a power that shines because it is whole, not because it is borrowed. That is the light no narcissist can touch. So let them hunger, let them reach, let them wear their masks and spin their illusions. You see through them now. You guard your flame now. You walk whole now. And when you walk whole, the world bends differently. Your boundaries are unshakable. Your energy is sovereign. Your presence is fire that warms but does not burn, light that guides but does not drain. You are no longer an escape from darkness. You are the proof that even in darkness, one can become light. This is the final truth. Narcissists will use your light to escape their darkness, but only if you let them. And now you never will again.